Hey everybody, back with another video. This one is a, actually I'm not going to tell you what board it is. I'll just tell you that it is not Galaga, but I can use a Galaga adapter on it. And I have powered it on, so I know there is something wrong with it. Let's go ahead and power it on. See what we get. What do you guys think that is? I see an A there, starring Mappy. So this is a Mappy game right there, and I think the coin up is working. Audio seems to be working. Sorry, I'm trying to use the camera. So the background looks fine. Let's see if I can turn that down a little bit. Yeah, so the background graphics look fine, the characters look fine, but the sprites are totally jacked up. And I believe, I don't know anything about these boards, but I have a Galaga to work on too, and it looks like it's the same board. These are Bailey Midway boards. And I'll come right back. Alright, so we have a end of screen there. I'm going to press and hold my test switch. This does have a test mode in it. On my adapter here, I have to actually hold it down. It's not really a switch. And it says scroll 0, RAM OK, ROM OK, IO OK, upright, blah blah blah. Okay, so it looks like it's fine. I don't know if there's additional things you can do in test or not. But it definitely looks like the problem is going to be on the video board, which is on the bottom side. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to power down. I will take out the socketed chips. Some of these customs have quite a bit of oxidation and tarnished legs and stuff. I'll make sure all those are working. There's two 6809 CPUs, it looks like. Take that off. Alright, two 6809 CPUs. There's one right there. And then on this side is basically our graphics, I think. And there's a couple customs here. There's it looks like a Prom right there. So I think the problem is probably on this board. It could be also this interconnect. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to do some research. I'm gonna take the boards apart, clean them up, clean the legs, and then start from there. Alright, so I have the board all cleaned up, and I removed all the chips here. Cleaned each socketed chip up with a Dremel, as you can see there, nice and shiny. And all these custom chips, and even the ones that, you know, had the oxidation, I'm glad I did this and took each one out, because if they break with the Dremel, they're probably fragile anyway. And this one here was actually broken off without the Dremel, so this might be our problem. So just removing the chips, cleaning them, and obviously inspecting things, I found a broken leg there. So I am going to basically try to solder on a leg here, and I really want to avoid replacing the socket, so I'm going to see if I can do this without replacing the socket by just using this as a guide, this 28 pin machine pin socket. I'm going to use this as a guide, if I can get it in there. Alright, I'll come back after I get it in. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little leg from a capacitor that I have. I'm going to tack some solder right on that and then trim it and then remove it from that socket. I'll be right back. Alright, it took me like maybe two seconds there. Heat up my iron, and that's what it looks like right there with my little, let's see if I can get it. So not real bad. I mean, I think that's going to work. I mean, obviously I could always come back and solder every leg into that socket. I'll link to Adam's video where he does a really good job. I just don't feel like doing that for one leg. So I'm just going to cut this off. There we go. And roll with it. Alright, so I have this board. I haven't cleaned the CPU board, but I did clean and put all the chips back in on my video board. But then I realized I wanted to spray the board out, and my video adapter cable is not long enough, which kind of sucks. So I'm going to have to power this up and fold the boards up a little bit, which isn't ideal. So I'm going to make an adapter, I guess, eventually to extend it, because I have a Galaga and some other boards to work on. So let's see how I can do this. Just grab a piece of cardboard temporarily. Put in between there. Sorry you can't really see that, but whatever. Alright, I got my cardboard in between. I'm just curious if this thing's going to work. I'm pretty sure I put all my chips in correctly. Let's see, should I double check? Let me double check it and come back. Alright, I double checked. Go ahead and power on. That looks a little different, doesn't it? Does it? I'm not sure. Nope. Still the same thing. So we have some more troubleshooting to do, which is fine. I actually like it that way. Okay, so by the way, every time I say okay when I come back to film, I feel like that sound effect from Metal Slug. Okay. I don't know why, but hopefully you guys know if I'm good at editing, I might edit it in there. But I hooked up an extension. I just basically spliced in some wires so I didn't have to waste connectors and stuff like that. So got that sprayed out, and we still have our blocks and some weird crap happening graphically. So I am going to come back and probably look at the schematic a little bit, and it's pretty straightforward, I think. But there's like 3 or 4 data buses. The address and data bus from the CPU board comes into the graphics board, and then it kind of splits out, I think, between like characters, sprites, and what's the other term that I'm looking for? Characters, sprites, and something. But anyway, it kind of splits out between those 3 functions, and then comes back together, and it goes through like a PAL and stuff, and I'll show you that on the schematic here. Alright, hopefully this comes out okay, but basically here's the graphics ROM, the graphics board, and if you see here, basically this is the 40 pin or 50 pin connector to the CPU board, and that comes in and it says buffered main data 0, BMD0 over here, and then you have BMA 0 through 15. So you have buffer main address, buffer main data, and then so your buffer main data bus comes into these 74LS245s, and then that gets split out to basically data bus A up here, data bus 1, 2, and then this one's 3. So coming out of each 74LS245 is like 4 different data buses. And I was reading on Klov, I just googled sprite issues on Mappy, and J-Rock had a comment on a thread where he said check 5K, and that kind of gave me, you know, is giving me a direction so I can think of this area at the bottom here, which is part of data bus 3. Data bus 3 comes in here, and yeah, and data bus 2 actually. Data bus 3 and 2 come into a custom chip. Hopefully this is coming out okay. A custom chip at 3L, and then it goes to a ROM at 3N, and then another ROM at 3M. So 3N and 3M might be your sprites, and it goes through a custom, then goes through a Prom, and then comes up and goes through probably some 74 LS365s, etc. And then it basically feeds all the way into a PAL, into probably another Prom or something, that then creates your colors. So you could kind of trace it back, but I'm going to start here and look at 5K, the outputs of 5K, and the outputs of 4M. Or the inputs of 5K right there. How is that? Is that in focus? We'll find out when I try to publish the video. Right, there's my blocks on the screen. I'm coming to the Prom here at 5K, and there's pin 1. This is an input, hopefully. I have to wait for the screen to change here. Let's go, there we go. So I can see it there. It's toggling. There's pin 2, pin 3, 4. This is what's on the screen. 5. Let's see here. There's 5, 6, 7, and 15. I have to wait. There's only certain times that the address line's firing. There's 15. See that? So if I look at the outputs, there is 9, 10, 11, and 12 is not doing anything. And I'm going to let it go, but I don't see 12. I'm suspecting this Prom is jacked up or something, so I'm going to read it. I'm going to take it out and read it and see if it reads okay, because I don't see anything coming out of pin 12 on that Prom. Don't know for sure, but I'm just going to do it, verify it. Okay, so I'm at my programming station, and this B Prom is a 7611, which is a Harris, and that equivalent of that is a Sygnetics 82S129, I believe. Yes. So I'm going to put it in and then hit read, and we get an error. Can't read it, or can't verify it if it did read it. Did it read it? I don't know. Let me hit cancel. See if it says reading device, verifying device with buffer. Oh, well, I haven't read anything. I didn't. Okay, because it's reading the device, putting it in the buffer, and then it's verifying what it put in buffer, and it's not good. Bunch of addresses, buffer, blah, 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 whatever. So I think that's good enough for me to say that this is bad. I'm going to burn one if I have one. Hopefully this comes out on camera, but one of the reasons I bought my BK Precision or my LNIC or whatever is that it can program these Tesla 74S287s, which are supposed to be the equivalent of a 82S129, but they don't program the same way, which is kind of interesting. So I am going to select that. This is my first time trying to use it, and let me verify it. I know I'm just showing you on the screen, not what my hand is doing right now. Putting a chip in there, and just do a blank check. Alright, let me load Mappy 5K. Where's 5K at? Right there. And let me program this thing. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm programming a Tesla 287 chip, and if this works I might buy some more of these. I have like 3 of them, and if it doesn't work I just ruined a chip, I guess. Yeah, Mappy 5K, yeah. Alright, cool. Alright, let's go try it out. My new Prom in at 5K. Make sure I got everything configured correctly. Power it on. Uh-oh, I see Mappy. That might have fixed it. Boom. Does that look right? I have no idea. Is it supposed to be like a white screen like that with these bars? I might have to run this on MAME to see if that's normal. I mean, it could be. Alright, here's the MAME part. Kind of zoom in a little bit. And you can see this is supposed to be red up here. There's not supposed to be any, blocks, behind the text or the characters. Yeah, so I think something's definitely going on still with that board, because that's what it looks like on MAME. And also this door right here it's flashing, but it's solid. And again, no bars. You can see the red balloon, so it's almost like we're missing colors too. Yeah, see right here we have like, either we're missing colors. That should be black behind the high score, behind this credit. You can't see red on the balloon. I don't know if we're missing red or what's going on there. And you look at the door, like it's supposed to be flashing, but it's supposed to be solid. I don't know what's going on there. So we got some issues going on. Alright, so I've been probing around, and I was immediately going to the other Proms. This is the other 7611, I guess, which is a 82S129. And I probed the outputs and it looked good, but then I was like, alright, I might as well pull these out and verify them. And I verified this. I can read it, and it verifies it. You can read everything that's in it, and it verifies fine to itself, but it does not verify it does not verify to the MAME file. So I'm going to burn another 4C and see if this is our problem. Okay, I have my chip, my replacement chip in there. Let's see what we get here. Still effed up. That should be a black background, and I don't know what's going on there. Let's see if there's anything else that's different. Well, the doors look better, I think. Don't they? Nope. So I don't know what was wrong with that. Maybe it was just slightly different than what was in MAME. I don't know. Color-wise, interesting. I'll keep the other one because it still might be good, or it might be... Alright, well, back to the drawing board. I can't see any difference. Damn, I'm getting old. I can barely see through this viewfinder, but anyway, I've been hunting and pecking around, and what I was doing is I knew that the two ROMs down here, most likely 3N and 3M, they had to have been for the sprites and stuff like that. So I assumed that this other ROM, this 2732, was the character ROM. I don't know that for sure. I was just making assumptions. And then I just started working my way out from there. I used my logic comparator on some of these. I was probing the outputs, you know, LS86 here, just looking for anything to jump out because I was kind of like stuck. I don't have the code for this PAL up here, so I couldn't check that. Verified, you know, the other bipolar proms good and stuff. So that brought me to this LS377, and I wrote down the outputs here: 2, 5, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16, whatever, 19. And let's go probe that real quick. So there's my game. And this is a 74 LS377, and we're going to look at pins 2. There's 2. Pin 5. There's 5. I mean, it looks okay. Pin 6. That's not good. Pin 6 is bad. 7, 8, 9. Okay, 9 I thought was bad, but it looks somewhat okay. And look at 6 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, I don't see anything on 6. Unless it... I might need to get my... I mean, I got my intensity cranked up. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't see anything. I think that's 9, 10, 11, 12, 12 right there, 15 has activity, 16, I don't know. Pin 6 for some reason doesn't look right on this. And that's an output, 377. So I'm going to try, I don't have one. I'm going to try to use a donor board and see if I can piggyback that or do something else. I hooked up my logic probe just to be sure. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's good. 6. That's bad. That's 9. 10, no, 11, 12. Yeah, so the rest of them look good. I think this 377's bad. That one pin's low. Alright, I'm kind of messing around, experimenting and stuff. I tried piggybacking a 377 on here that I just pulled, and it didn't make a difference. But then I pulled the Prom from 4... what is that, C? A, B, C, yeah, 4C, and I just want to check out that. Oh, it's blank screen, right? Or at least you think it is. Let's see. So you can see it basically removes all of the background and characters. So I know I'm kind of in the right area of the board because the sprites are showing up but the characters and background is definitely hosed up. And I just wanted to show that real quick. But this is not toggling 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But it does toggle if I power it on. Let me do that real quick. Hold on. Watch. See, it's toggling as the game's booting up, and then it goes low and stays there. This is a flip-flop, and 7 is going nuts. Now, it's got to be, you know, it's based off of, it's going to flip the output based off of the timing of 2 other things, like the clock and the enable or something like that. I don't know. I have to go look at the schematic, but this is a time where I'd probably need a logic analyzer to see if this output, based off of the clock and the other thing, and this input of pin 7, if this should be flipping or flopping, whatever you want to call it. Flip and flop. But because I don't have a logic analyzer, I'm going to just shotgun it, and we'll go from there. Okay, so put a socket there. My donor 377's in there. Turn it on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nope, that's not it. That wasn't the problem. Shit. Yeah. So what the hell? It's gotta be, I don't know what it could be. I mean, it could be this PAL, it could be something else, I don't know. I'm just messing around, but to experiment, I grabbed a PAL chip from my Super Pac-Man board, and that's what it looks like on the screen. But the fact that the letters are still blocked out makes me think that it's not this PAL chip. So anyway, I just figured I'd show that real quick. I'm just screwing around. Alright, I'm messing with this custom chip 1702 because it's supposed to have something to do with the tile map. And pin 15 was just low, so I removed the pin and pulled out that pin 15. And I guess it floats high or goes high. But what happens is you can see the letters are inverted or whatever. So that's what that pin 15 is doing basically. See, it says credit, but it's spelled backwards, like it's a mirrored image or something. So I guess it is supposed to be low. Anyway, I just figured I'd show that real quick. Okay, I might be onto something again. This is one chip I couldn't check with my logic comparator because I don't have any. 74LS158. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is just high, and I'm running out of room. But I believe that should be toggling because. Alright, so basically this is my 74LS158. Pins 4 and 7 should be doing the same thing, and I came to that conclusion because pin 2 and 3 control pin 4, and pin 6 and pin 5 control pin 7, and those are tied together. This is always grounded. This has got, you know, load, I guess, 1A, 1B. So if pin 4 is toggling, pin 7 should be toggling. Alright, and here we are. Let me see here. Got the game on. And here's pin. Okay, we got pin 2. You can see that right there. Pin 2. 3 is low. As you can see here, 2 is toggling, 3 is low, and 3 is tied to 5. See, pin 5 is low. Pin 6 should be the same as pin 7. And it sounds like it is. I mean, pin 6 should be the same as pin 2. So here's pin 7. which is the output, and pin 4 is toggling. I think maybe it's our problem. I don't know. This has to be, something's screwed up, so I gotta replace it. Alright, so I think I made a lot of progress off camera. I was down a whole rat hole on testing proms and stuff, but I'll come back to that. So I basically made the wrong conclusion here. Then the key here, if you can see it, is yes, pin 2 and pin 6 are tied together, and pin 3 and pin 5 are tied together, and those both drive those outputs. But the difference is one Y output, pin 4, 1A, the A is on load and the B is grounded, versus 2Y, A is grounded and B is tied to load. So if you look at the, I know you won't be able to see this, but if you look at the function table in the TTL book, it's basically saying if the strobe, which is strobe is not positioned here, but if A, basically in the select, but if A is high, hold on, what am I doing? I need to think about this. Oh boy. Okay, A is always low. So A is always low. So it's not, okay, this is it right here. A is always low on the pin 7 output 2Y. A is always low. Doesn't matter what B is. On a LS158, the output's always going to be high. And it's kind of, and then on B, it's if it's high, then it could be low. If A is high, it could be low, and A is toggling, so therefore it toggles back and forth on the other input. So that is not my problem. Let me show you. Alright, so my game is running, and I pulled out this pin 10, and it is still high, and that drives pin 10 of 4A and 3A, which are just floating, so it doesn't really matter. Basically, this pin 10 being high or not doesn't really matter. The game's still going to run. I'm not going to actually show you the game, because what I figured out was the 4C, the original 4C, and then I made a mistake in the one I burned. I actually both read as 5K. So the original 4C that was in here might have been swapped with the original 5K at some point, and then I mistakenly, off camera, when I went to burn a new 4C, I actually selected the wrong thing and burnt 5K, and this was about 10 minutes back in the video, but it was like a day ago in real life. What a pain in the ass. I was going back and forth. I was losing my mind. I did all types of measuring and experimenting. I posted a thread on Klov, and I was doubting everything. So basically I burnt a new 4C, and our game is working. I got no problem. I'm just going to reset it here real quick so you can see. You see how the boot up process looks? Everything looks good. There's Mappy, proper background colors, proper lettering. Everything looks fantastic. And all of that extra troubleshooting was because I foobarred when I was burning a new 4C. It was just weird, and also because it was probably wrong, or something was jacked up to begin with when I actually first got the board. Maybe they were swapped accidentally, and whatever was in 5K was actually a bad 4C, blah blah blah, whatever. So I ended up not needing that. Now the good news is all of that Prom testing led me to actually test the Prom, which I wasn't going to test at 3M, and that read bad as well. And I'm going to show you that on the video. So this is a new 3M. We're going to coin up. Whoops, damn it, I just hit test. We'll go through the test thing. Now I'll cut this part out. Alright, I got my game running. We're going to coin up. Now listen to that. I think that sounds like bad. Listen to this. It sounds like almost a little scratchy or whatever, but I think that's the way it's supposed to sound. And listen to that. It sounds so bad. Listen to that static. I mean, maybe that's something else in the audio section or something. I don't know. But I thought that sounded pretty bad. There's gameplay. Alright, and now I'm going to come back and put in the wrong one in a second. Hopefully you can see this somewhat clearly. I loaded up this software program called HXD or HexD. And it allows you to compare like binary and hex files and manipulate hex files and stuff like that, edit hex files. But over here on the left is the Prom 3M for the music from MAME. And you can see if I hit F6, it will compare. Let me start from the beginning here. F6, whatever. Basically, you see like address 00 is 0E, address 00 over here is 0E. Then address 01 is 0E here, and it's 0F here. Then it goes 0E, 0E, and here it's going 0E, 0F, blah, blah, blah. And as you go down, you notice over here, all the odd addresses are reading 0F. Not the case over here. All the odd addresses, if you look at 1, we have different values in all of them. Odd address, you know, on the 03 column, 5 column, 8 column, every single odd address is 0F, which is all ones. This is a 4-bit EEPROM, so we're only looking at the second nibble. I don't know if that's least significant or most significant, whatever. It's the second 4 bits, this little F value, and that's reading all ones, so that's 4 ones versus over here where it could be all zeros, it could be whatever 8 is, 1 0 1 1 1 maybe, or whatever. You get the idea. That Prom is bad, but I'm going to put it in just so you can hear the difference. My game, I'm going to coin up. See, listen. It's definitely different. I don't know. It's kind of crazy how it sounds. Definitely different tones. A little bit higher pitch or something. Very strange, right? I thought it sounded better, but maybe not. I don't know. Kind of crazy. I think that's it, guys. Working Mappy with the wrong sound ROM in it right now, but if I didn't make that mistake, let me turn that down. If I didn't make that mistake burning this bad 4C, I probably would have never checked this 3M and even realized it was bad, which is kind of weird, right? So I guess it was a mistake, but it was a good thing because it actually led me to check this. I would have probably never checked that because I wouldn't have known if it sounded wrong. And now it's actually completely right. And I had to burn well, I didn't have to burn a new 5K. If I would have known the one that was in 4K was actually read like 5K, then I could have just burned a 4C and saved myself a lot of troubleshooting, including socketing 2 chips that didn't need to be socketed. In both these cases, if I had a logic comparator or if I had a LS158, my comparator would have shown that this was working correctly, and I probably wouldn't have gone down that path. And for this one, if I had a logic analyzer, I probably wouldn't have gone down that path on both cases, but whatever. It all worked out. Fixed Mappy board. That's it. Cheers.